welcome. Thank you for joining me on my life on paper. I am Brianna, and today is a special day. We are celebrating Tara, and she is the paper snob on YouTube. She is kryptonite_72 on Instagram. I will have her listed below, but she has hit 500 subscribers. And kudos to her. That is not an easy deal. It takes a lot of work. I could say it's also a lot of fun as well, but Tara is so talented. You need to go over to her channels on Instagram and on YouTube and check her out. Give her some love, celebrate with her. But today she said do some stitching, and she loves to do stitching, and she asked us to do stitching on our pages. So I went to her board. I went to her Instagram, and I found this layout that I'll put up in the corner to scrap lift, and it has these stars that are stitched, and I had stars. I have a cut file, and I think it's supposed to be this size, but then I decided to make it look more like hers. I was gonna layer it up. I'm gonna stitch these. Now the problem when this the issue that happens here is you've got these nicely spaced big holes to stitch on, and I hand stitch. I have not stitched on a sewing machine. I've never used a sewing machine, so I stick with my hand stitching. This one is perfect. This one you can see, because I made it smaller, has the smaller holes that are closer together. So what I thought was I'd skip one here. Not going to be the same, won't look exactly the same. That's okay, still stitched. And then these are teeny tiny, but you can still poke through and probably skip, I don't know, like 3 holes or something. I haven't decided what color I want to do these in yet. I might do like white on the red and blue on the white and white on the blue, if I said that correctly. Anyway, I might mix them up. I might do them in a totally different color. But I have this photo. The other thing she said is do a selfie. So I have this photo I recently took. We were at Summerfest, which is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's a big music festival. The American Family Insurance was giving away free hats. They gave buttons to put on there. And so this is my selfie. That's my cut file. What I did was I went into my Iris bin of summer things and pulled out what I felt like might go, but yet is red, white, and blue. It wasn't on the 4th of July. It was after the 4th of July. But there's just fun things. And then I didn't know, I've got these, I really like these stickers as well. This would not be keeping it red, white, and blue, but these would be fun to use. So I have that as an option. And the other thing is I pulled this because of the road trip. I like that. That might be my title. But this collection from Echo Park, A Slice of Summer, Frames and Tags, from 2021, does have some of that red, white, and blue in it. And I wouldn't mind a pop of yellow. And maybe yellow could be part of my stitching. So I just thought, looking through here, see what might go well. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I've got these other things. It could be some tucking pieces, some starts of clusters, some cluster bases. I definitely was not wearing flip-flops. We were doing a lot of walking. I'm not that young anymore. But here is just some really fun pieces that might fit into this layout. So anyway, so then the other thing, oh gosh, here I get sidetracked. Other thing I'm playing along with is it's the July Iron Crafter Challenge. Iron Crafter Challenge of July, and the challenge is alphabet stickers. Guys, I don't have a lot of alphabet stickers. Okay, so I'm that, tell me if this, you know anybody like this. This is probably crazy. Maybe I'm the only one. You get alphabet stickers, you use certain ones. I know you can like Frankenstein them to like change an N into an M or change a L into an I, but it just gives me hives to think that I might have left her letters that I can't use. This I got free from Ellie's Studio. Sometimes I did have a subscription for several months. I love LA Studios subscription. You can check them out. They're listed below. But this was free, so this is why I have these white letters, which I might use for like a subtitle maybe. I don't know, maybe I'll use road trip. I'm not really sure. But here is another set of letters, and these are alphabet, and they're not just a whole alphabet, but they're chipboard stickers. And you are rad. I thought, where else am I going to use a title like that? Maybe because of my rad bucket hat. So I think these are a couple of things that you might see on the layout. Off camera, I have stitched all the stars, and I decided to go with those alternating colors, which I really like the way this turned out. And you'll see me here tying off some of the backs to themselves, snipping them, and then some of them don't get tied in a knot, but yet I just put this ATG glue down so that they're stuck down and the ends aren't going anywhere. And when I do stick them down, you'll see me use a lot more ATG adhesive than I normally would, but I just want to make sure, like, one, these pieces are probably a little bit heavier because of the string on them, and two, I don't want those pieces behind there going anywhere. So that is why I put quite a bit of ATG adhesive on the back. Before I get them glued down, I want to kind of place them to see where do I want them to go with relationship to the photo. So here I'm really only trying to glue them to each other. It does stick to the paper, but I will be moving the whole set of stars. But just seeing this, I get excited about how good it looks. And once I lay down the star and look at the picture, I think this is unusual for me, but I do decide to trim down that picture. Normally, once I have that photo ready to go, like I think it's going to be that size, it stays that way. But I just, I didn't feel like I was losing anything by trimming down the American Family advertisement. You still get that pop of blue behind it. Because of the hat, I know it was American Family, and it just fits so much nicer onto the star, and then allows more of the star to be seen, but also allows those cluster bases to go around too. And what I was pointing to right there was I don't want that blue, the same blue in the middle. I want to get that backed with something. And I tried a couple different things, but really when I found these flags, it's what I wanted in there. It's a little bit of a playful, it's that light color. So I thought that worked perfectly there. And since I've got the star exactly where I want it, I just glue it in place right where it is. And like I said, I'm putting some extra ATG than I normally would, but it's going to not only keep that star in place because it's a little bit heavier to the thread, but it's also going to keep those threads from unraveling and in place. I'm going to glue that picture down, but I'm going to make sure not to glue the outsides of the picture in case I want to tuck anything. So that just makes that easier. And I made sure to leave a little bit of that star sticking out on the right hand side. Then I go immediately to the letters from Ellie's Studio that say, "You are rad." And I lay them out like they are in the sketch. And they sit there. And then I start pulling out the things that I have that I've already shown, like the summary things, the red, white, blue summary things. And I start laying them around. And you're going to see a lot of things get laid out that don't make the final cut. And with this collection, the Echo Park collection, there are a lot of wordy bits. I don't need a lot of wordy bits. I end up with a title and like a subtitle. So all those subtitles aren't going to make it. And there, that middle piece, I wasn't sure about what to put in the middle there, and I wasn't sure about it because of the wood grain, so it sits there for a while. That red crab called to me. It's summer, not that I'm crabby, or maybe my family would tell you I'm crabby, but just that it's a summer item. It's red, it looks cute on the page, and we're also going to use it, right? So I do cover up the middle of that to get the yellow off, the sun off of the middle of that cluster base right there, I glue down the viewfinder. That's one of the things that also doesn't make the cut. I did open up a couple packages of Simple Stories, and they're the bright color ones. It's called Color Vibe Chipboard Basics. I've got Basic and Summer. And so I kind of picked the red, white, and blue things out of there, those pieces on the left-hand side that are sitting there right now. And I only used a couple of those. But I did like the Summer Hair Don't Care, and it covered up that part where that journaling part is just going to go off into nowhere. So I like that. Lots of things that went around and did not make it. So I had this, I think this was a Cricut thing, like you to try out your Cricut, this crown. And in case you didn't know, I'm sometimes referred to as Queen Brianna. So being it a selfie of myself and it being the blue color, I put that lovely crown right where it should be by my head. And I put the crab next to it. And I just keep moving things around. I've got those chipboard pieces. I'm not really sure. I know I want to make the same 3 clusters as what she has in her layout. So I'm kind of, I want to stay true to that. The layout I'm lifting from Tara. Ooh, this is a nice old sticker that I have. Some of these pieces I've had quite a while, and it just feels good to get them to make sense on a layout. And that ice cream cone comes out of my summer things. That blue heart is close to my heart. I believe it's close to my heart from something. Might have been a sticker. And then I'm trying to figure out how to layer up the dark blue heart and a red heart. And some of these red items, like that red heart, is a planner sticker. So those are a couple of things I was trying to get out of my stash as well. There's a geotag that doesn't make it. This is a blue flower that's just random in my stash, and it moves around a little bit before it gets stuck down. That piece says adventure, and that was off of one of the summer stickers. So I liked how that just nestled in there, and that flower does move down there where it ends up staying. And I'm just trying to fill in my clusters, making sure they all have a little bit of red, a little bit of white, and a little bit of blue, and that they make sense together. And once that gets sticked down, I didn't want it to overlap. I really wanted it to touch up against. And there's a planner sticker that goes down behind the crab and the heart. And I have a couple, I think they're fireworks, things I stamped that were extra in my stash. Those don't make it on there either. So I do put down that ice cream cone, and it ends up coming up, and it ends up going somewhere else. But I was just moving things around to see, how do I get it on there and make it look like it's supposed to be there and not look forced? So that's how things get pulled up and put back down and moved around again. And there is a couple of items that I really do kind of want to force to get in there, and those planner stickers are some of them. So off goes the ice cream cone, on goes the red heart, and then the ice cream cone sticker still gets stuck, and so we're all good there. I think the next part is taking some of these round stickers from the planner stickers, and it says like to do, and I tuck them in there so that you can't see the letters, but you can still see part of that red circle. And it just gives it another kind of layer of interest there. It's all flat. I didn't pop anything up. And I stick with those same colors. The blues, you can tell that I used a couple different shades of blue, but other than that, I'm sticking to the red, white, and blue. It's kind of a different version of my monochromatic that I like to do so much. So here's where I start to look more closely at the chipboard letters. You are rad. And I'm not exactly happy with the way that's sticking out, and I'm worried about that white star and the letters overlapping the white star. So I start with rad, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to get this down and see what I think. And the R is on the white, and it is fine, and in real life you can read it nicely and it's not a problem. So then I thought, well, what if I try stacking this? So the next thing goes on there is R, and then it'll say R rad. And those little things in the middle, I had to get my pokey tool out because they were a challenge to get out. And then I hold it up there and I say, what about you can go on the top? And it's not like the sketch, but it does look like it belongs there, which makes me happy. And then after that, I still pull out the letter stickers. Oh, here. These are brads, but they're like long bar brads. And they're two things I had taken out of the stash. They're the same thing. One is shorter and one is longer. But once they were out and they're the right color, they were going on this page. So under my journaling block, I start with the bigger one. And I just poke 2 holes in the paper. And what I do is I press it down into the paper so it makes a mark. And then I use my weeding tool from Cricut to make it all the way through the page. And then you can see the weeding tool is very nice for opening those flaps of the brad, so that then I can push them down nice and flat. With my short nails, it's hard to get those apart with my fingernails, so that weeding tool works perfectly for flattening out those brads. And I do the second one, the same one, just trying to make sure that it's parallel with the first bar that I did. And there you go. So just a little bit more of interest. And then I use these gems. They're red, and they go perfectly in the jewels of the crown. And I pull out and I make sure that I get the fulfillment of the alphabet letters. So I take these LA Studio and do Summerfest, because that is the name of where we were. And I have all the letters. I don't have to change anything up. And I start backwards because I know I don't think it's going to fit across the whole thing. But this is going to look more like where she has her title on her layout. So I just started with Fest backwards. And you'll see me, and they weren't the easiest stickers to work with. And I'm not used to working with letter stickers, so I gave myself some grace on that one. And then I line up above them and I do summer, because I'm pretty darn sure that's going to fit across. And it does, which makes me happy. So I'm still... take it how the title, take it how you want to, but I am not calling Summerfest Rad. I am calling myself Rad. And then I pull out my inks because Tara had a pattern paper, and I just decided that it needed something. So I used the splash of the inks to finish that part up. And I have just enough time to ask you to check below and check out Tara and everybody that's playing along and celebrating her, as well as everyone that's playing along with the Iron Crafters this month. So I hope you have a fabulous day, and that I will see you again soon for another video.